one. Let's do this.
Let's do it.
Welcome to MarriageFIT, everybody.
Hey, guys.
MarriageFIT. What is MarriageFIT?
The fives, the five Fs.
The 5 Fs. So we like to talk about 5 life priorities.
Yes. Faith.
And they're all F.
Faith.
Family.
Finances.
Fitness.
Fun.
And fun. So the 5 Fs, those are the key ingredients to a world-class life.
Absolutely.
And we like to tackle specific topics and relate them to those 5 priorities from a male's perspective, a female's perspective, and a couple's perspective. Welcome to MarriageFIT.
We basically want you to feel like you're at a Four Seasons in Maui every day.
Oh, that would be great.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't it amazing? So it's been pretty overcast and not the greatest April for us South Dakotans. And
We live in South Dakota.
the sun is shining, and all of a sudden I am the happiest girl ever.
Spring is definitely
Little
here.
vitamin D.
Goes a long
Happy
way.
wife, happy life.
Booyah. Hey, so what are you talking about today?
So, trending lately has been self-care.
Self-care.
If you look at Pinterest or you look at articles on main sites like self.com or shape.com, or for me, I read a lot of
All the
women's
trendy
mag-
sites.
Yes.
They're talking about self-care.
Self-care. So I personally love it. I feel like we're trying to gear away from the 30-day crash diets or get fit in 30 days, get your finances set in 30 days, and start to really focus on the within and what makes you tick inside, like really taking care of you.
Yep.
And that comes from all different perspectives, through mind, through body, through health, through wealth,
Yep.
and fun.
Definitely.
So I thought it would be a great topic for you guys, especially now, like I said, as the sun is starting to shine, the summer is starting to appear, and taking care of yourself, making it a priority this spring and summer.
Totally.
Yeah.
We deal with a lot of the glitz and glamour of, the fake fitness, I like to call it, where people have unrealistic expectations,
Yes.
unrealistic perspective. And we talked about it before, but the microwave mindset, where
that.
you want something
It's a microwave mindset.
and you want something now, and it doesn't matter if it's taken you 6 months to get out of shape, whether it's your body or your finances or your relationships, or 6 years. People don't really take into account or take responsibility for what they have done over time, and they want what everybody else has
in 30 days.
with the snap of the fingers.
And I do believe that a lot of sites make us believe that we can achieve that.
Right.
And so then they think if they follow this plan, this is what they're going to get.
Yep.
And these are the results they should have. And when they don't do it, they feel defeated. And so they either go back to doing what they did before times 2, tends to be worse, right? Because they feel like a failure. They're never going to get to where they need to be, yada, yada, yada. Instead of really finding what makes them tick on the inside. Like, what makes you happy? Are you even going to be happy? Because you and I have talked about this. I've been heavier. I've been on a very light side. And I wasn't happy at either.
Yep.
Because I wasn't happy from within.
Right.
And I'm also not going to be a good coach to my clients. I'm not going to be a good wife to you. I'm not going to be a good mom in the future. All of these things, if I'm not taking self-care, meaning putting my number one needs first.
Okay. So what's self-care for you?
Self-care for me is waking up with meditation,
Okay.
rowing, workout, morning workout.
Exercise.
Yep, making sure it's the first thing I get done. I also make sure no matter what, I'm getting 7 hours of sleep.
Okay.
Obviously, we can't control what's going on in the 7 hours, but making sure all LED light is off at least 20 minutes before I go to bed.
Yep.
Making sure I have a quality night's sleep, all blackout shades in my room. Getting the most out of it. Sleep is so important. And then making sure I'm surrounding myself by a community of fun, positive, inspirational people. So when I am at work, people are giving me congrats or saying good job or asking me for motivation or help, which is inspiring to others.
Yeah.
Another thing that gives me self-care is meal prep.
Yeah.
I love to cook, so I make sure every day in my schedule is some time. And sometimes it's 30 minutes, and sometimes it's 2 hours.
Yeah.
And those are the lucky days, the 2 hours. And then making sure that you and I now especially get lover time, as we call it, at night. If it's 30 minutes, sometimes that's all we have, but it's quality, it's dinner, it's talking about our day, and it's making sure we have that special bonding time before we go into the chaos of the next day. So that to me would be like a perfect day of self-care.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe add a little massage or, nails or something.
Right. Not every day.
No,
not
that
daily
would definitely
self-care,
be
but
like
something
once
else.
every 6 weeks or something.
Absolutely.
But yes.
That's some pretty good self-care right there. That rhymed.
Has to be a priority.
Totally.
How about you? What would you look
I,
for in a self-care
I
day?
kind of think self-care, you got to be a little selfish on the front end so that you can be very selfless on the back end.
Yes.
Like you said, you got to take care of yourself first so that you can take care of everyone else as well. But I mean, what you do every day is what your life is going to look like. And so if people are out of, 20, 30, 40 pounds overweight, they've done something every day to get themselves there. They have to have a completely different day to have that body or life that they want. And they have to do it consistently over time. So
Yes.
self-care for me definitely is some kind of physical activity, stretching, exercise, some type of sweat.
First thing.
As soon as possible. Yeah, I mean, and I've learned that the sooner you get it done, the easier it gets done, the more guaranteed it gets done.
Do you feel more productive with your day then as well?
100%. And I
That's
think
how I feel
too, the earlier I get it done, the more proud I am of myself too. And you go into the day with a lot of confidence. So making sure that I'm always moving my body every single day is one thing. I really have focused a lot on water lately. And so I like to get up and I like to just front load as much water as I can.
How much water do you drink, Mr. Mel?
Golly, I mean, I shoot for that 100 ounces every day.
I was going to say,
But
right
even
out the
in the morning, I'm trying to get like at least half of that.
Wow.
Before I leave the house. So if I leave the house at 7 or whatever, I'm getting 30, 40, 50, 60 ounces of water in the morning to get myself going.
You're
in the
the
right
Kobe
direction.
Bryant of water drinking.
I'm the Michael
That
Jordan.
is like of water drinking.
Yeah, I'm the
It's very impressive.
Watergate guy.
You're Watergate.
Yeah. So water's big for me. And then now that the sun is coming out and the spring is here, I want to get more sunshine.
And tell them how you do. I love your sneaky way to do that. So
My
we have
sneaky
two
way.
gyms. So you'll drive sometimes from one
my
gym to
sneaky
the
way.
other.
Okay.
And then you stop at a park with our dog, and he literally will just go and play chuck it with the dog and eat his salad at lunch.
Yeah,
And that's his lunch. He picnics.
definitely.
And it's just you and your little man time with
Totally.
Rambo. Get some vitamin D, and it takes about 20 minutes, and then you're on your way.
Yep.
I love that.
Thank you.
And
I
you can
love it
do
too.
that at work too. A lot of times you have outdoor tables or little parks nearby. And that's a fun way to socialize with friends too, which is so important. But then, like you said, get some vitamin D.
And like you said before, we're very fortunate because we are at a gym and we have a community of people that want to live a healthy lifestyle. So even if I'm having a really bad day or in a bad mood or something not favorable is happening in my day or my life, just going and being around positive people is just a freaking game changer because we try to give so much positivity every single day that when we need a little help, we know where to go, and it snaps us right out of our mood, at least for me. And it's a completely different day for myself. So I love being around positive people too.
So we just listened to this really good podcast, and he was a divorce lawyer.
He was.
And so this really got me on the 30-day fix, is self-care. And he said that couples that end in divorce, it's from years of being in an unhealthy environment with each other, and how often every day you need to stay in communication about each other's wants, needs, and as you grow and as you change, you need to communicate that with your spouse.
Got to be on the same page.
And the reason that it doesn't work is because nobody communicates. They just stop and they either expect the other person to know, can't read minds, people, or they get tired and lazy. So they just don't want to talk about it. It's too much. He's not going to get it anyway,
Well,
whatever
do you
it
think
is.
too, like I think when we get in bad moods or we get in a rut, that we just start to isolate ourselves. Even if we're with somebody in the same room, we isolate our feelings and we isolate, like you said, communicating. I think if we feel bad, we don't want to like express that. It's hard to express
I
that
don't
maybe.
think that I ever feel like that.
Yeah, I guess not for
That's
you.
probably for you.
Maybe for me.
I
Maybe
don't
it's more of a
think
male
I feel
thing.
like that.
But I
really
think you
want you
just
to
you
know
just
if I'm
hold
not
your cards and
feeling
you
good.
hold your feelings, and one day leads to the next day and the next day, and then all of a
Yes.
sudden it's really hard to communicate with people. But you always got to be on the same page. You've got to always have some kind of checkpoint with yourself.
Yeah, I had friends recently that were going through some couples therapy, and they were giving it 30 days. And they have been in a marriage over 12 years. And you can't just say, we'll try it for a month. It's every day. You have to commit to doing it till you feel your relationship is at a point where you wouldn't need that.
That's
and
like
maybe
losing...
you'll always need that. We have friends that in LA that will go once a month for a therapy checkup. That's just what they love to do. There's no issues in their marriage. They just like it to keep them accountable and to make sure they're not getting off track. And I feel the same as in fitness. We do that a lot. We have this 30-day, okay, I'm going to do Whole30, or I'm going to do whatever programs. There's a lot,
30-day
keto
challenge.
or whatever. And there's nothing wrong with that. But what do you want in that 30 days? And where is it going to take you after? And I don't think people ever think about after.
Right.
And that's where it falls apart.
Yeah, I think, and we've said this in the last podcast, but people, they overestimate what they can do in the beginning, the first 30 days, and they underestimate what they can do in the long term, like the first year or the first couple years type of thing. So we got it backwards, I think.
And because there's no plan, we just go, like you said, go back to the way we were, or worse, because now you're like, where do I go from here? And what am I going to do? I guess I'll just go back to my McDonald's diet. Like,
So
they don't know.
How do you make self-care past that first phase? How do you get past that first 30 days?
First of all, you take it day to day.
What's your take?
But I feel like you get your long-term goal. Like, what is health? I love that question you always ask our clients. For fitness, you're asking me, right?
Okay. Yeah,
Well,
let's stay with fitness.
What does health
our
mean to you?
expertise.
What's the epitome of health? So I have a friend that had a child a year ago.
Okay.
And I told you that she looked really good. Well, what did she change? She didn't want to lose the baby weight. She didn't want to get her, whatever it was back.
Okay.
She wanted to be the best mom to Aiden that she possibly could. And in order to do that, she had to fuel her body with
Name drop the baby.
Aiden, nobody, yeah.
Okay.
She wouldn't even care anyways if I said her name. But she made sure that she fueled her body with healthy, nutritious food. She was mindful with her movement, guys. So that means she did yoga, she did meditation, she did workouts 2 to 3 times a week, trying to really be smart about getting back into it after going through childbirth, which is a very intense process. And then she got the best sleep that you can with a newborn. But she made sure those things were a priority. And that her son, she was breastfeeding at the time, so that her son was getting the best quality.
So...
And what happened?
That was a lot of good stuff, but the key word that I heard was she made it a priority. So
Exactly.
how did she make it a priority?
Because it was about the most important thing in her life.
Right. So she had some purpose behind
Exactly.
it too. So even for you, like, how do you make everything a priority that you mentioned with your self-care?
Because I made a promise to myself that I was going to get better every day. That was always my goal. And I want to be the best wife to you that I can every day. And it wasn't until this past year when we had really started to have a child, wanting to have a child, that I knew my priorities really had to change. And sometimes I had the workouts locked. I could do 3 workouts a day. It was fine. I could teach still. I could, go without food all day. It's like that wasn't healthy anymore. My habits weren't healthy. So I may have looked quote unquote fit, but I wasn't taking self-care. I wasn't ultimately fulfilling the needs of Annie Mello. And so once the priority shifted to the greatest gift that you and I received, and we were on the same page about doing, self-care became number 1. Because now, was our goal to have a child, or was it to row? It was to have a child. Was it to eat lunch, or was it to skip it and go grab coffee? Because I didn't want to waste time doing that, So because, same thing, the goal was so big, and the vision was so clear, my mindset shifted. I didn't know when I'd get pregnant. I don't know, when we'll have a family. There's no set date. This is going to continue. And when I have children now, it will be the same thing.
It's so weird because, I said self-care, you got to be selfish.
Yes.
But you got to be selfish in the beginning. You got to make yourself a priority, right? But I think to get past that 30 days, something else has to be the driving force. It has to be bigger than you.
I love that.
And I think what happens is people flip it, right?
Yep.
They think they're doing it for everybody else, or they're people pleasing. So they do these 30-day fixes or challenges, but then, so they're selfless in the beginning, but then they're selfish at the end.
It's the opposite, yeah.
So that's
You're
what
right.
happens when they throw in the towel, it's because they don't have anything bigger than themselves. So it's like a reverse all about yourself.
How do you stay motivated? You also have a really good, I think, philosophy with fitness where you change your seasons too.
Yeah.
You also make different areas of focus. So you don't get bored, you don't get mundane, and you keep getting better.
Definitely fighting the boredom is big, just because you can get in a rut and you can get in a routine. And that can be just the death of you as far as mentally and emotionally. So I try to just find out what's really intriguing and just follow that and go down that rabbit hole.
Yes.
And then I really want to just challenge myself. I want to do something that's really hard, that maybe to the point where I don't know if I can even do it, but I want to see how far I can push it to see what I can learn and gain from it.
But you don't have a timeline.
No.
And I love that.
Right.
It's just until you get to the craft where you want it.
I've got this thing about, appreciation versus expectation, and you have to
give me more,
you
Mr.
can't
Mom.
just
I like this.
you can't just expect things to happen. I think people just expect it. The
Absolutely,
microwave,
right?
the 30-day fix, they think if I do this, I deserve this, and that's totally the wrong way to do it.
If I come to 3 classes a week, I should be able to do pull-ups, no bands.
If I drink a veggie shake every day, I should lose 12 pounds.
Yeah.
It's like you don't deserve anything if you're expecting it to happen. You have to appreciate what you're doing. And people got to realize that everything that you get from a challenge or a goal or getting a result happens throughout the journey. It's not the end result. It's what happens throughout that. The knowledge and the experience that you gain and attain is the real nuggets that you can achieve.
It was fun. We watched a documentary on Netflix. Check it out, guys. Or was it HBO with Warren Buffett? HBO.
Netflix. HBO.
HBO.
I don't know.
Anyways, it was fascinating. He's 82.
6.
Is he that old?
I think so.
Maybe so. He goes to McDonald's
Yeah.
every single day.
The richest guy in the world.
And depending on the stock market, he decides what he's going to order. So the stock market's up, he can get a bacon, egg, sausage, biscuit. If the stock market's even, he gets a sausage McMuffin. And if the stock market's down, he gets 2 sausage patties.
The richest guy in the world.
Richest guy in the world. He has just a normal desk.
Yep.
He
lives in Omaha.
Yep, normal, same house.
He drives a
Cadillac.
Yeah,
normal, just
Cadillac
like an STS.
STS, yeah.
And he just dresses like a normal guy.
Yeah.
He's been in the same office for 65 years. Mm-hmm. And the most fun part is he said it's a game. He just wants to continue to learn life and get better.
Yeah.
So if Warren Buffett or the top
Richest guy
leaders in the world want to just learn and get better, I think there's something to that.
It's got to make sense.
But yes. So what are we ultimately doing with fitness? What are we ultimately doing in our marriage? Mm-hmm. All these questions that nobody asks, they just say, I'm going to do a 30-day diet, I'm going to crash diet, I'm going to lose 20 pounds. But what if you don't? And what if, like I had a client the other day, I said, when did you look, quote unquote, your best? And they were eating less than 1,200 calories a day, doing far too much working out. And they were miserable on the inside because they weren't having fun.
I heard this quote the other day because what I think a lot of people, they just compare themselves.
Exactly.
To other people.
We've talked about this.
We've talked about it a lot. And so I heard this quote recently and they say, comparison is the thief of joy. And so when these people go on these crazy diets or vomit of the mouth, or they don't know what they're doing or saying, they're just copycatting because they're trying to compare, they're just driving themselves nuts. And that's not a recipe for success with whatever you want to.
And it's funny too. I feel that you and I were going through probably like I think we'll look back on life and say it might have been one of our hardest years that we've gone through. Mm-hmm. And I remember people saying all the time, you look so happy. And it's because I was. Like, what was not to be happy about? I lived with the man of my dreams. I have a beautiful home. I get to be around positive, inspirational people. I have a dog who loves me. It's just like there's just so much to have blessings for instead of just looking at like, oh, in 30 days I'll be here. Oh, just get through these. Even tax season, you'll hear like people at work. I just got to get to year end. I just got to get to quarterly, and then you'll be what? Will you really be happy? Why can't you just choose to have happiness now? And I think that's missing. That's a missing piece to a lot of people's puzzle.
Absolutely.
And they think that these 30 days, they're going to attain happiness, wealth, a happy marriage, whatever it may be.
Yeah, I mean, people just take advantage of time. That's all it is. We just take way too much advantage of time. And until something really bad happens, or you really hit rock bottom, or you really have to make a shift. I think the big thing is people will only do what they have to do. And if they don't put themselves into a situation where they have to do something, most times they won't, and they'll just justify or make excuses or always wonder why.
That's such a good point, because you guys should put yourself in 30-day situations. Like when our gym has our challenge, it's so great to have accountability for those 30 days, but take it far beyond the 30 days.
You got to light yourself
Use your resources,
up,
use your coaches to keep you inspired, ask questions, keep Googling. Keep wanting to get better and learn more. Even one of our trainers, she was having like some stomach stuff. And I said, here, try this for the week. Sure enough, she found out. She was like, well, that food never bothered me before, but now it is. Like, you're just constantly evolving. And what your body might need 2 years ago probably doesn't need now. With the fundamentals, yes.
Totally.
But maybe some sides. Or, if we get to the point where I'm breastfeeding, my body's going to need a lot of different things than what I'm going to need right now, Or for you, if you start a lifting program, you're going to eat much differently than when you're doing your gymnastics because you want to be lighter now. So all of this can change depending on your season. But fundamentally, you're always getting better.
You just got to roll with the punches. I mean, it's not that hard.
No.
We make it way too hard. It's not that hard.
Have you done a 30-day fix that's you felt really successful from?
I mean, sort of. I mean, I don't know. 30 days. I mean, you need the 30 days to spark yourself, but people think it's the end all be all, and that's where you get in trouble. But we did do the whole 30 a couple years ago, where we were really disciplined and rigid with our diet. And I noticed too that you take a couple food items out, like salad dressings, and like that was a big difference. So, but you got to do something, and you got to stick to it.
But that stuck to your goal. You ultimately want to feel better,
right? And so it wasn't about the 30 days; it was about the rest of the life and being that science experiment.
Exactly. Just having little challenges, guys, too. Keeping it super simple. There's a way they say that there's a reason it's not called the whole 365. I mean, it's not supposed to be for 365 days. It's supposed to be for seasons. And so if you're looking at this as, I'm just going to learn from it and I'm going to grow from it, whatever situation it is, instead of putting an end date. That's, I think, another problem that we have is we put an end date. So our mind wants to shut it off and shut it down. So all that work that we've invested, null and void.
Yeah. I think the big thing is compare self-care versus challenges or diets or short-term solutions, but really self-care is more of a lifestyle perspective and taking care of yourself.
Absolutely.
For the long haul.
I like that.
Yeah, and not just sticking to one thing, changing and learning and evolving and treating yourself like a science experiment so that you're never going to be the same, but you want to always try to pursue a little bit better version of yourself.
Yeah, because when you're 65, you're not going to, like I say, I look at my
grandma. Your needs are going
to
change.
It's so great. She's 81, and she plays tennis 3 times a week. That's her max. She doesn't want to get over. She doesn't want to get hurt. She goes and have coffee with her friends. She goes to shows. She travels. And her whole motivation is to feel good. So she's not worried about her size. She's not worried about the weight on the scale. She's worried about her health inside. Overall, being able, like I said, being able to play tennis without pain. Being able to drive. All these things that she didn't, and I never heard her growing up saying, oh, I'm fat, or oh, I'm this. And there was a really neat Dove ad recently, and it showed moms and their daughters. And they put them in 2 separate rooms, and they asked the mom what they didn't like about themselves. And the kids were like 8, 9, and 10. And then they asked the kid what they didn't like about themselves, and what do you think they said? The same thing.
Yeah.
They said the same
That's crazy.
thing. So if the mom was like, oh, I hate my thighs, the little girl would be like, my thighs are big. I'm not, And so it's really...
People are just brainwashed.
Really really eye-opening, though,
Yeah.
to make sure that you're giving yourself, quote unquote, self-care, positive affirmations. It sounds so cheesy, but I literally every day had to write down 10 things I loved about myself, because at one point in my time, I hated myself so badly.
Didn't we talk about cliches and
Yes.
how they're always going to be true, and it's been said over and over again, so it gets worn out. But really, cliches should never be cliches.
Yeah.
It should always be the rules.
Absolutely.
So that's funny, man.
So, guys, self-care through your health, through your wealth, through your fitness,
Yep.
and have fun with
Just
it.
take responsibility.
through
This
your
is your
faith
life.
too, right?
And just change what you're doing every day. Self-care is about every day, not about 30 days.
Exactly. And take it day by day and know that every day is not going to be I call it a PR day, right? A personal record. You're not going to, Usain Bolt does not run his Olympic trial the
Every
same
single day.
speed. No.
It's impossible.
Kobe Bryant does not have a game-winning shot when he played. You know, all these people aren't champions every day, but they go out with that intention and mindset.
Exactly.
And they know that the next day is a new day and clean the slate. And I think when we do that, instead of continuing to beat ourselves up and self-sabotage and in
All
our
the crap.
marriage, everything.
Yep.
Yeah, that's perfect. Let the trash pile up
Yep.
is when the trouble happens.
Cool.
I liked it.
Good topic.
Take care, guys. Self-care, number one. Let's go get some vitamin D, Mr. Mello.
Bingo. Thanks, guys.
Take care.
No, no, no.